Hi, I'm Kayleen from MVP Therapy and Sports Medicine, here with Glenn Pfluger, owner of RVA Athletes. We're here to talk about injury prevention for athletes in any kind of sports.
Yeah, thanks for having us. I really appreciate it. Just want to stop you there. Like, how do we prevent injury? Is it possible? We always ask, are sports good for kids? If we get hurt playing them, then why do we keep on doing it? I guess we're competitive by nature, but you have the threat of the sport, and then you have each individual's vulnerability. And so our job is to reduce that vulnerability as much as we possibly can. We want to make sure that they are not going to get hurt in our gym doing these things, as well as reduce what happens at their practices and games, and then we can add the performance on top of that.
Absolutely. I mean, we all agree that, we love sports because it's getting people active, enjoying exercise, getting them moving, but we want to, again, shore up those vulnerabilities. I know, in PT, we're seeing, all kinds of athletes come in that a lot of times have injuries that could have been prevented had they had supportive structures in place, or, muscular groups that were stronger, more supportive, that maybe they weren't aware of that they needed to have built up.
Absolutely. Sports, they are exercise in disguise. And our number one step is be prepared to play, whether that's playing, soccer in your backyard, playing ultimate frisbee, going to play pickleball with the family. We want to make sure that we're prepared to play. And playing, sports are games. They're supposed to be fun. And if we can't play, then we're not going to have as much fun. And if we're hurt, then we definitely can't play. But after that level is, how can we be prepared to be confident to compete, right? And if we can have a better emphasis, I already know I've got the baseline, but now we can take it to the next level. That's going to be important as well. So the first step, really before playing sports is, are you prepared to play? And going through some basic movement screens to make sure that we are as efficient and as effective to practice before we go.
Yeah, and I would say, it's not about being strong and whether you're strong, because most of the people I see who are athletes are really strong. It's about those little muscle groups that maybe you didn't even know were a weakness. People show me they can lift a ton, they can squat a ton, but I put them into a position and suddenly they don't have strength in that position. So it's really important to kind of have some sort of screening to know if there are any weaknesses that can be worked on before you get into that.
I mean, at the end of the day, we get hurt because somehow we're not strong enough in certain positions, like you mentioned. And when I got into this industry, I was going to become a physical therapist. And I realized I didn't want to be fixing everyone for all these injuries. Who's educating the athletes at an early enough age? So where we get to focus on early adolescence from 10 to 15 years old as a starting point where they're about getting ready to grow and they go through this athletic awkward stage. So it is more about the rhythm, the balance, the coordination, stability, and functional strength before it is brute strength, bodybuilding strength. How much can I lift and how fast can I go? Yes, they will come along, but we're not getting hurt because we're just not strong enough or powerful enough. I think we are, but athleticism comes in awkward directions and puts us in weird positions. And if we're not able to handle those in a gym setting where it can be more controlled, and it's going to be a lot harder when we're actually out on the field, the court, or in our sport.
Sure. So I love that your facility here is something that can screen athletes and train them to get their bodies ready to go out and play that sport with hopefully, no injuries, being fully prepared as much as they can. And then also, from a PT perspective, when an injury has occurred, we do everything we can to help rehab that injury. But a lot of times there's this space between I'm kind of recovered from the injury, but I'm not ready to go back to the elite athlete part. And you kind of fill in that nice gap between when an athlete is not injured anymore, but not really ready to be at that high, elite level, helping them safely get back to that elite level. So we appreciate being able to partner with you and be able to get our athletes back to where they want to be after they've been injured.
I mean, at the end of the day, we're just a big support system. We're trying to support the athlete for what their goals are. We're able to support the skill coaches and just deliver a better, well-moving athlete so they can take this finely tuned machine. But like you said, there is a gap from, okay, you were just hurt, you had pain last week, now you don't have pain this week, before sending them out. Really, sports are war. So there's this, how can we bridge that gap and make them a little bit more successful and a little bit more confident as well? I know personally with the injuries that I've had over the years, is it going to happen again? Am I going to get hurt again? And if we can set a baseline and then understand this was our baseline and we've surpassed it, then I'm going to be able to enter in with more confidence when I do play. So that is one of the biggest things that transfers out of the gym environment into the sport arena is confidence. I am prepared to play. I am confident to compete, and I'm going to do well because I've taken the necessary process and procedures to get where I need to go.
Yeah, like you're confident that all the muscle groups, all the joints are doing what they're supposed to do. And you're right, that's a big mental component that we see in PT, and I'm sure you see a lot too, is just that getting over the fear of, is that going to happen again? So it's nice to have, a bunch of us in the community working to help build that confidence back for the athletes and get them back to doing what they love to do safely.
Right.
And that's the goal. So appreciate you taking the time to be able to talk with us, and yeah.
No, thank you.